All right, the Bucks. It is Talking Buccaneers with me, Fumane. And yeah, I'm trying out again the thing where I'm going to be referring to my notes because there's a couple of things that I want to get to. So if I look down, it's because I'm trying to remind myself a point that I want to make instead of doing this thing that I often do, which is to just talk at the top of my head and then regret some things that I said. I'm kidding. I don't regret some things that I said, but I often think I could have said that better, or I could have phrased what I was trying to say here this way. So from, I guess for the foreseeable future, I will be kind of trying out this thing where I refer to my notes, and I hope, I hope it's not too distracting for you guys. But on today's video, obviously, this video is going to be about the departure of Mohau Nkota, but something I realized putting, kind of my notes together, my thoughts together, is that the conversation around Mohau Nkota, as much as it's about his departure, him joining Al-Ettifaq in Saudi Arabia has been announced by the club and various other sources. We even heard a video of him on social media bidding farewell to, the Orlando Pirates fans after just one season with us. And as much as it's about him and me saying congratulations to him for the fact that, he's going to be playing in a league that is now more visible, and obviously he's going to pay him a lot of money. As much as this video is about that, but something I realized is that this video is actually more about the wing situation at Orlando Pirates. So recently we found out Monapule Saleng is now gone. Mohau Nkota is now gone. And, you've got two new wingers that are joining Orlando Pirates and two wingers that have now departed. And the question that I have on my mind is, okay, what is the plan? Obviously I was very excited for the signing of Oswin Appollis, the signing of Tshepang Moremi. I wouldn't particularly say I was excited, but I was okay with it, But I guess my mind is now kind of starting to run again, having now found out after the announcements of the two new players that actually Nkota is now going to be departing and Saleng is going to be departing. I think for me personally, it then shifts the way that I viewed these two signings. And yeah, so I want to know what is the plan. And some will say, what's the panic? What's the panic? Pirates lost two wingers, but they've signed two wingers as well. So where's the issue? Saleng is gone, Mohau Nkota is gone, but we've also signed Oswin Appollis and we've signed Tshepang Moremi. So where is the problem? And I think that is a fair question, but I must say that for me, I think it's also a very simplistic one. I can see people kind of having that kind of, counter argument or question to say, where's the issue? Like, why are people fussing as though we didn't sign Oswin Appollis? And we saw today versus Paphos in our second friendly match in our sort of preseason tour in Marbella in Spain. Well, not tour because we're playing in the same place, but in our preseason camp in Spain, we saw that Orlando Pirates did play with Monapule Saleng and Oswin Appollis on the pitch at the same time, which is something that we've been asking ourselves, how are you going to fit both of them together on the pitch? Because both of them rather prefer to play on the left. And so I see the question saying, hey, look, we just saw today that Oswin Appollis and Mofokeng can play together, right? They can play together on the same pitch. But again, I want to say that it's a fair question, but it's very simplistic because, football is not like a USB. You don't just plug out one USB and plug in another one, and it's like everything just kind of continues running the way it was working. Football doesn't work like that, you know. There's more nuance to these things, and that's exactly what I want to push us on in this video, is that can we just say, yeah, Nkota's gone and he was a young prospect. Yeah, Saleng was there, but he wasn't playing much. So the fact that we're buying Appollis and Moremi should just fix our problems, right? I can see people thinking like that. And again, I want to say it's fair, right? But I think, having thought about it, I feel like it's quite simple. It lacks nuance. And that's what I want to get to. Now, yes, Moremi and Oswin Appollis are here now. But last season's wingers had something that these two wingers, Appollis and Moremi, don't. And they had momentum, specifically Mohau Nkota and Rele. And allow me, I want to add Mufokeng to this conversation because I think this hinges a lot on him, and you'll find out why I think so. But last season's wingers at Orlando Pirates have something that Tshepang, Moremi, and Oswin Appollis don't have. And that is the momentum. The momentum of having played at Pirates, continuing on a journey, right? They don't have that. They don't have the rhythm. And look, I say this loosely because obviously there's a new head coach. There's a sense which we are starting again. But the thing is, a lot of the squad is still there. A lot of players, a lot of combinations have already formed between players. And that's what, yes, they can develop. Especially good players. I mean, Oswin Appollis and Rele, there's already talk of there's going to be a good combination there. Yes, good players can foster that, but it's not just like a magic wand just kind of like swinging there and then everything is just now going to happen. It's like, oh, they're going to connect. It's going to take time. It's a journey to play together and to form a combination. And we must remember that the attacking front of Pirates is the soul of the identity of how we play. I really think that, you know, the wide players, Mufokeng, Nkota, you might throw Maswanganyi in there, and when he's playing, so Fatou Mabasa, Evidence Mahopa, is that it's almost like the identity of Pirates. They're the very soul of what Pirates plays like. And the fact that you kind of like uproot and you start again with different players, and then all of a sudden Rele maybe now has to play on the right and that kind of thing. I feel like it then disrupts what I'm talking about, that Tshepang, Moremi, and Appollis won't have. There's this rhythm, there's this momentum that, you know, Nkota, I would even throw Saleng in there. Yes, he hasn't played for over 6 months for Orlando Pirates, but I mean, he's the guy that has been playing every final for Pirates and combining with Mufokeng and Maswanganyi to win us games, right? So I see some people are already saying, hey, Saleng hasn't played for 6 months, forgetting the MTN8 final, forgetting all of these times that he's come on where it's been like, oh, he hasn't played a little bit, he comes back in a Soweto derby and he wins it. Obviously, Pirates win it collectively, but you know what I mean when I say he wins it is that he scores the decisive goal or he makes the most goal contributions in that game. That's what I mean by that. And I think the other thing, obviously, familiarity with the system. Now, again, I want to say that there's a new head coach, so a lot of things might be changing. So it might favor Appollis and all of these people because we're all now kind of adjusting to this new head coach. But I think also the chemistry with the teammates. I saw someone who said something particularly interesting on social media when I was looking at the interviews of Oswin Appollis, Sihlendouli, the new players. I think they were asking them 10 questions and stuff like that. And someone said, they need to like relax, like they shouldn't be nervous. You can tell like they knew, they're still nervous and things like that. And those things play into performances, you know, and I'm not sleeping on that. And I'm saying that, you know, this new look kind of attack will have this new field because people are still nervous. People are still trying to form chemistries, combinations, and stuff like that. And yeah, those kind of intangibles are something that I think they take time to build. Like those are the things that are actually, in fact, this word intangibles, these are the intangibles that make Pirates great. Yes, the players are good, but you don't just plug and play good players and think you're going to win. There's all these other things that add to the club, you know, doing well, which is, again, chemistry, rhythm, momentum, familiarity with, the tactics of the head coach and those kind of things. And this is where I think, like for Pirates, we're not in a season now where, we're trying to restart again and see, okay, who are going to play on the right? How are we going to, that kind of thing. Like Pirates need to hit the ground running now. And that's my worry, is that, there's all this talk about we are in year 3 or year 4 rather. We've just completed year 3 of this project, whatever. And year 4, the head coach, he put this expectation upon himself. He's the one that went in public and spoke about that. And he made us excited to say, oh, you view this club as having to win now, right? Okay, fine. Those are the standards we're going to hold you accountable to. We will want you to win, right? And so there's all this talk about, we're in year 4. And so, yes, head coach, it's year 4 now. We can't be restarting and stuff like that. That's my point, is that you want to hit the ground running. If you want to challenge, you've got to hit the ground running. And the other thing that I want to talk about is my issue specifically with kind of the fact that, yes, we've signed 2 wingers, but we've released another 2, is that last season we already had a depth problem out wide. On the left wing, we just had Rele Mofokeng. On the right wing, we had Mohau Nkota. But the one who was deputizing was the one who was frozen out. You know who I'm talking about, Saleng. We had those 3 in terms of your main starting level kind of wingers in those positions. And yes, the other option was Dion Hotto. But Dion Hotto is a different kind of winger. Firstly, he's now a left back. But then it means that you're moving all these pieces around. When you move Hotto there, now the left back, there's Baseka Mako, yes. But there's even issues of the fact that, some people didn't have match sharpness like Marco. So it's almost like you kept playing with the same formation because we lacked the depth, especially out wide. And that's the other thing that, for me, is that, getting 2 wingers and then letting go of 2, it basically puts us where we were. But I would even argue at a worse place, because now you're starting with new, fresh players who, again, they have to now kind of gel with the team and have that journey for themselves, right? Unless if they are like Monapule Saleng, who hit the ground running at Orlando Pirates. And that's what it's going to take. It means that Moremi must hit the ground running, or Oswin Appollis must hit the ground running. If he doesn't, then that means we're going to drop off a standard out wide, because now we have lost Nkota and we have released Monapule Saleng. But again, I want to say that, and I want to stress this point to say we had this issue of depth last season, and it for me, it's just basically saying that we haven't fixed that problem if we're going to release 2 players. Now, I don't want you guys to get me wrong to say I'm upset at Pirates releasing Mohau Nkota, and maybe I should actually make this point. I'm not mad at the club for releasing Mohau Nkota for Mohau Nkota's sake, right? For Mohau Nkota's sake, I think, again, I already started by saying this, that I'm happy for him to go play in a league that's more visible, where he's going to be playing with other big names there and maybe even making a lot of money, right? Which is good. And in a South African context, that matters so much, because these players have a short career, and we've seen a lot of times how after their careers, they get stranded. And so I'm happy for him if he can go and earn in those. I'm not sure what currency they actually use in Saudi Arabia. So someone who's smart can tell us in the comment section. But let him go and make that foreign currency, and let him go and develop with other players. Let him go and learn to be a man. Let him go and adapt to a new culture. Let him go and learn new tactics, new culture, new food, new everything. It's going to add to him as a person, firstly, but it's also going to add to him as a player, right? It's going to mature him. And by the time his 3-year contract ends, because apparently he signed a 3-year contract, he'll still only be 24 years old. So there's still a chance to then go and play in a top 5 kind of league. And that's what we hope for. So this is not an issue with Pirates having sold Nkota for Nkota's sake, but it's more of the fact that I think it easily then points to the fact that I'm actually more upset at the Saleng loan. But I'll get to that because I know I'm going to ruffle a lot of feathers by speaking about Saleng because you guys don't want to hear anything with regard to Saleng. You guys, some people seem to have forgotten the fact that Saleng won big matches, even though he didn't play for a while. When he came in, he won those games. So we kind of have this amnesia, and I get it, fans, we have this amnesia where out of sight, out of mind, right? And which is fine, but for me, it points to that, to say, how do you then release Saleng when, you've got this, and talks must have started a long time ago for Pirates, and they knew they were going to sell him because I know my club, I love my club, I know how they deal with business. They will only sell Nkota for the big buck. If Al-Ettifaq was coming with money that Pirates thought was silly, they were not going to release him, not even for his own development's sake. I think it has to match what they value the player. And we know Saudi, they probably came in with the big buck, and Pirates goes, okay, cool, you go, and you can go, that's fine. And good for them. Maybe that's the money that signed Oswin Appollis, who knows? But apparently Pirates has money stored somewhere. A lot of pundits and analysts talk about that Pirates has money. So Pirates, they say you have money, but maybe the money that bought Appollis is the Mohau Nkota money, which is fine. Okay, cool. But again, my thing is, I'm worried about the depth, and I don't want to labor this point too much. But Oswin Appollis, again, I just want to maybe zoom in on him. I think obviously Bafana International, and today maybe played a big part in actually seeing that, okay, maybe we actually can fit Mofokeng and Appollis in the same system. But my worry again is the fact that obviously he prefers to be on the left, and my worry again is that Mofokeng prefers to be on the left as well. So it's not optimal. It's not balanced. Let me say that. I think it's not balanced because what you get with someone like Saleng Nkota playing this side is that he actually can come inside and take those shots, right? So even against low blocks, we talk a lot about low blocks and stuff like that. In fact, it was so amazing for me to see how many long-range goals we scored last season. And that's one of the things that, again, I think, okay, when you play a right-footed player playing on the right, his inclination is going to be to go down the byline. Whether it be Mofokeng, whether it be Oswin Appollis, is that his inclination is going to be to go onto his strong foot, which is outside, meaning you're already reducing the number of shots that Saleng, say, for example, or Mohau Nkota, when he comes inside, he sees, the goal and he goes for it. Or he plays in someone, sort of kind of in-swinging cross, or that kind of an angled pass into the box, that kind of thing. But yeah, I think my only issue with Appollis is that I think on quality alone, he's very good, right? But it's whether or not the balance of Pirates is going to change now, and how do you do it? And maybe some of you might have ideas, say, okay, maybe we can actually deploy, because again, with the signing of Sipombule now, people are talking about, and I'm thinking about, how do you fit Sipombule and Kabelo Dlamini into the same system? And maybe what it will be is that, okay, maybe you then deploy on the right someone like Kabelo Dlamini or Tito, someone like that, who will then play as a wide playmaker rather than an out-and-out live wire winger. And then you can get the width from your right back, Shandu or Libitzo or Dino van Rooyen on the right. And so that, okay, basically Tito, Dlamini, they're going to come inside. And maybe you play as a 10, you play Rele, and on the left you play Oswin Appollis. I don't know, but you see, this is my point, is that all of these experiments might be too costly for us in a season where you want to chase, right? And Tshepang Moremi, for him, I think it's a case of, he's not young, he's 24, that's good. We've seen glimpses of kind of how rapid he is and that kind of thing, which is good. But the thing with a Pirates winger, and this is the point, it's not to discredit these guys that come. It's to actually say, hey, the bar is really this high. Hey, you are coming to a club where Mohau Nkota on debut, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it was his second game, he scored a brace, right? Screamers. Munapule Saleng on debut, I know he didn't score, but he kind of like dismantled Sundowns. By dismantled, I actually mean Andy Lechali. He was mopping the floor with Andy Lechali. But I think Saleng, when he broke through, he was already just kind of like scoring. I remember he went on a run, his game against Amazulu, him, Ndlondlo, Kemet Erasmus. He was just scoring a lot of goals. And that's the standard for a Pirates winger. And that's my thing with Tshepang Moremi, to say, it's not about just being rapid and being able to like burst and burst past people and that sort of thing. Are you going to then score? Because sometimes we can't find Radio Pane, sometimes we can't find Sofatso Mabas. We need goals from the wide areas. We need our wide players, Rele, we need him to score. We need you, Tshepang Moremi, to score as well. But here's the big, maybe actually before I get to that, is that my worry is that, are we going to see Pirates then saying, okay, Gilberto come back, or Tladisa come back, which I'd be really livid about. I think, we sent them out on loan to go and kind of, I honestly think we sent them out on loan not to go and develop. You don't develop a 28-year-old or Tladisa with a loan. I think what that loan is kind of like just, I beg your pardon, getting him to play football somewhere. And yeah, if he does do well, maybe we can like resell him or something like that. He can like make value and then we'll sell him and then we'll buy someone else. I think that's the fate of Otladisa right now. Gilberto, I think, I don't know what the issue is there. He's young and kind of like showed a bit of potential before he played for Orlando Pirates. All the clips that we all watched, and some people watched his like live games, we all kind of had this positivity towards him, but it never really worked. I don't know if he just didn't adapt, but he also kind of came with a reputation of he's very problematic in terms of behavior and that sort of thing. So I don't know why they loaned him out. I can imagine Pirates keeping things under wrap, especially if maybe there was a behavioral thing there to say, you know what, go and play there. And because we don't want you to waste away, then we have no resale value if you're wasting away. We're going to waste the 10 million because we signed him for 10 million apparently. So it's almost like, you know what, go and play there and kind of like remake value for yourself. But here's the part that I think is the most important for me. And it's this, is that I spoke about, and I have a video which I spoke about, Rele can't go, right? He cannot go because for him, he wants to play AFCON and possibly the World Cup. But AFCON comes first, and that's guaranteed because we're playing in AFCON. Some people have an issue with me not mentioning the World Cup, but we're not in the World Cup. We might be in the World Cup. But first step is he's got to play the AFCON before he plays the World Cup, right? So I think he's eyeing the AFCON. He's eyeing that left wing and say, I want to play there. And a move abroad might jeopardize that, right? So I think for him, it's a case of, okay, maybe stay put for a good 6 months, maybe a year. But I think for Pirates, again, this is my issue, is that now it's a case of Rele can't go because then you've lost all your front players and you're basically starting again. And we can't have that. We can't have that in a year where we're saying we want to dismantle Mamelodi Sundowns. I think losing Rele now isn't just like, okay, good money or whatever. It's literally gambling with the soul of the attack of Orlando Pirates. If you lose Rele, if he still can go because the transfer window is open. But I'm saying he cannot now. Now that Nkota's gone, Saleng's gone. Because then you're left with a situation where you've got Appollis, Moremi, Gilberto, and Otladisa on the wide areas. And I don't think we can have that. That's literally a gamble with the soul of Pirates attack. And yeah, so that's kind of my thing. I think, this is now showing me to say, do we potentially have a problem out wide? And I'd like to hear what you guys think. Do you guys think we've got a problem out wide? Do you think that we've got enough cover with Mofokeng, Appollis, and Moremi? Is that who we're going to go with? And is that good depth, considering the fact that we had 3 wingers last season and we were complaining about depth, or some people were? What do you guys think? I'd love to hear. What do you think about the Nkota move? Up the mighty Bucks. Cheers. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video from Talking Buccaneers. If you did, please hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with all our future content.